You ever meet someone who says they're broke, but still has a $1,300 iPhone in their pocket, free Uber Eats charges on their credit card, and a gym membership they haven't used since the Obama administration? Yeah, they're not broke. They've just chosen stupidity as a financial strategy. The truth? Most people are broke not because life is unfair, but because they treat money like a side character in their own story, not the tool it is. That car getting towed? That wasn't just a moment of bad luck. It was the invoice life sends when you keep pretending hard work is the same as progress. And no, hustling harder won't save you if you're climbing the wrong ladder. Today, we're tearing through the facade of get-rich-quick noise to talk about a book that doesn't just give you steps. It hands you a damn blueprint. The Millionaire Master Plan by Roger James Hamilton. Let's get to work. Meet Roger James Hamilton, an ex-architecture student turned broke entrepreneur turned Bali-based multi-millionaire. But don't let the paradise guru vibe fool you. His story isn't about magic beaches or vision boards. It starts with failure, debt, humiliation, and a damn tow truck. Roger was that guy, the one who read all the business books, followed all the advice, built a business, and still had his car taken in front of his wife and baby daughter. Why? Because none of the advice worked. Not because it was wrong, but because it was wrong for him. That's the entire premise of the Millionaire Master Plan. You don't need more information, you need direction. And direction only works when you know exactly two things: where you're going, where you are right now. This isn't a motivational fluff piece. It's a surgical, punch-you-in-the-face system that starts by showing you exactly who you are, your natural genius, where you are, your wealth level, and what path will actually get you to millionaire status without the financial equivalent of doing push-ups in a broken elevator. Disclaimer: this summary falls under the Fair Use Act. It's educational, transformative, and a public service. We're not just regurgitating Roger's content, we're flipping the damn table, analyzing it, calling you out on your laziness, and serving the truth cold and unfiltered. So buckle up, it's gonna get uncomfortable. But if you've ever felt like you're working hard and going nowhere, this is your map. Welcome to Mindful Reads Hub. Let's get started. Unleashing your inner genius. You ever notice how we live in a world full of motivated idiots? People grinding day and night, shouting hustle harder into the void, yet getting absolutely nowhere. They wake up at 5 a.m., do cold showers, scream affirmations in the mirror, and then go to a job that suffocates their soul for a paycheck that barely covers rent. Why? Because they're playing someone else's damn game, trying to be someone else's version of smart, and you can't win a game where the rules aren't written for you. That's the real reason most people fail. Not because they're lazy, but because they're in the wrong fucking arena. Imagine being a lion who thinks they're supposed to climb trees. They'll think they're broken, they'll hate themselves, and eventually they'll give up. That's what the education system does to people. That's what bad advice does to entrepreneurs. It's a massive identity crisis wrapped in hustle porn. Now here's where the Millionaire Master Plan throws dynamite into that lie. Roger James Hamilton doesn't coddle you. He doesn't hand you 10 vague habits of successful people and send you off like every cookie cutter guru. He gives you a brutal scientific truth. You were born with a specific genius, and until you find it, every move you make is just digging a deeper hole. Hamilton calls them the four geniuses: Dynamo, Blaze, Tempo, and Steel. And each one comes with a different path to wealth, a different way to make decisions, a different way to win. Trying to be a Steel when you're a Blaze is like trying to write code with finger paint. It doesn't matter how hard you try, it's just not your path. And this is what makes the book more than some airy-fairy believe in yourself speech. It's tactical, it's diagnostic, it's deadly precise. Let's look at this straight. You've probably been told you suck at something: organizing, networking, managing money, whatever. You've been made to feel like a failure because you suck at their game. But Hamilton flips the entire board by saying your losing formula is someone else's winning formula, and vice versa, meaning stop trying to improve your weaknesses. That's a trap. Instead, find your lane and sprint like hell. And this isn't just spiritual fluff. This is rooted in thousands of years of philosophy and science. Hamilton links the four geniuses to ancient Eastern frequencies, Greek archetypes, and modern entrepreneurial psychology. But he doesn't make it academic. He makes it visceral. You know you're a dynamo if you create endlessly but can't finish a damn thing. You're a blaze if people are your oxygen, but Excel gives you anxiety. Your tempo if you can manage 10 things at once but can't brainstorm to save your life. And if you're steel, you're a spreadsheet whisperer who breaks out in hives around networking events. Each genius is a frequency, a different style of value creation, and the moment you figure out your frequency, the moment you stop trying to be every damn frequency at once, that's when everything changes. That's when you stop climbing trees and start roaring. But the brutal truth? Most people won't do this. Most people would rather keep pushing their square peg through a round hole and blame the world when they bleed. That's easier than admitting they've been trying to become someone they were never built to be. That's easier than giving themselves permission to be great at one thing and suck at everything else. But here's the real punch in the gut. Greatness isn't in doing everything. Greatness is in focusing on your genius and partnering with other geniuses to handle the rest. You don't need to be Superman. You need to stop pretending you are. This is why Hamilton introduces the idea of flow. Flow isn't some woo-woo concept here. Flow is knowing your genius, acting within it, and surrounding yourself with people who cover your blind spots. When you build that team, when your dynamo has a steel, when your blaze has a tempo, you create wealth the way ecosystems thrive, collaboratively, naturally, and without forcing things. It's like lighting another candle without losing your own flame. In fact, your fire grows stronger. The world is full of people grinding without clarity. That's why they stay broke, even when they're working 80-hour weeks. It's not that they aren't trying, it's that they're in the wrong fucking game. And that's the point of the Millionaire Master Plan. It's not just a book, it's a permission slip, a blueprint, a mirror held up to your soul that says, this is who you are. Stop fighting it, build with it. Key takeaway: wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you align with, and you only align when you stop pretending you're someone you're not. Favorite quote: everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. Navigating the Wealth Lighthouse. Imagine you're drowning. Not metaphorically, I mean literally. Head barely above the water, arms flailing, lungs filling, while the rest of the world is doing laps in the Olympic lane. That's what most people's finances look like, and instead of grabbing a life vest, they're trying to freestyle their way to a yacht. That's cute. It's also delusional. You don't build wealth by dreaming about yachts when your bank account screams instant noodles again, and you damn sure don't fix a sinking ship by yelling positive affirmations over the sound of the gushing leak. But this is exactly what people do every single day. They're broke, confused, in denial, and they call it the grind. No, my friend, that's not grinding, that's suffering with ambition. Now, what Roger James Hamilton does with poetic precision in this part of the book is hand you a flashlight. Not for the light at the end of the tunnel. No, that's for fairy tales. This flashlight is for examining the rot in your current financial reality. He introduces us to the Wealth Lighthouse, a genius-level metaphor that isn't just poetic, it's diagnostic. Because once you know your level on this lighthouse, the nonsense stops, the lies unravel, the truth slaps you. There are 9 levels of the Wealth Lighthouse, but let's talk about the ones where most people pitch a damn tent and call it home: infrared and red. Infrared is where you don't just lose money, you hemorrhage it. Your financial reality is like a horror movie, and guess what? You're both the victim and the villain, because infrared isn't just about being broke. It's about being broke and blind. You think your problem is income, but your real problem is delusion. You're trying to play chess while drunk, with half the pieces missing, and you still wonder why you lose every time. And here's the painful part. Infrared feels normal to a scary number of people. It becomes identity. They wear it like a badge. They complain about the system, the man, the rent, but they won't cut Netflix or that $7 daily dopamine hit from Starbucks. Discipline, that's for other people. Planning, I'll start next month. But next month never comes because it's running on the same damn excuses as this one. Hamilton exposes the 3 mind shifts that will save your life at this level. Measure your money, commit to conduct, do your duty. These aren't cute. These are non-negotiable. You need to track your income and spending like your survival depends on it, because it does. You need to set a conduct code, something that governs your actions when willpower fails, and it will. And you need to stop chasing dreams and start plugging leaks, even if that means doing unsexy, unglamorous, ego-shattering work. Then we move up to red, the most dangerous level in the entire lighthouse. Why? Because red feels okay. You're no longer bleeding out, you're just stuck in quicksand with a smile. You can pay your bills. You might even have a savings account with more than $100 in it, but you're not moving. Red is survival mode, dressed up as security. It's the corporate job that pays just enough to keep you dependent. It's the illusion of control, the middle-class drug. And the scariest thing about red, it gives you just enough to make you think you're doing okay. It rewards your mediocrity. It fuels your addiction to comfort. You can't build anything from red. Every dollar that comes in goes out. You're working just to breathe. Investing, growth, freedom, that's not for you, not in red, and you know it. Hamilton is clear. The only way out of these levels is to master flow. Not just cash flow, but value flow, time flow, energy flow. And you do it by treating your life like a business. You don't guess your way to profit. You don't wing it with your calendar. You don't feel your way to freedom. You track. You test, you tighten, and when something breaks, you fix it or cut it. The Wealth Lighthouse isn't a ladder, it's a warning system. If you're broke and spinning in circles, it's because you're using someone else's map, one meant for a different genius, a different level. No wonder you feel like you're failing. You're not failing, you're following the wrong fucking playbook. You have to stop skipping steps. Everyone wants to be green or blue. Investing, leading, scaling, but they haven't fixed their plumbing. They're still dripping money from broken habits, broken thinking, broken focus. They want ROI without self-awareness. They want leverage without responsibility. That's not ambition. That's financial suicide. Here's the truth. Escaping financial purgatory isn't about earning more. It's about earning right. And that starts with knowing exactly where you stand, even if that means admitting you're in the basement of the lighthouse with the lights off and the rats chewing at your ego. Key takeaway: you cannot escape the financial level you're at by ignoring it. You rise not by working harder, but by applying the right strategy for your genius at your level. Anything else is self-sabotage in disguise. Favorite quote: wealth isn't how much money you have. Wealth is what you're left with if you lose all your money. Ascending the financial spectrum. You ever meet someone so busy being busy, they've convinced themselves it's the same thing as being productive? The kind of person who's juggling 3 jobs, 12 side hustles, a vision board, and a YouTube channel that hasn't cracked 50 subscribers. And they call that grind mode? No, that's not grinding. That's financial cosplay. You're wearing the costume of someone with momentum while standing completely still. See, here's the part nobody wants to admit. Hustle culture is just high-functioning poverty when it lacks direction. And if you're chasing every dollar like it's running from you, it's because it is. Because you're still the one doing all the damn work. You've mistaken survival for success and hard work for value creation. You're the hamster in the wheel that thinks the blur means progress. What Roger Hamilton lays out here is a brutal and beautiful demolition of that hustle trap. If you're operating from the belief that wealth comes from effort, you're already at a disadvantage. Because the truth is, wealth comes from alignment, from moving from being a survivor to a worker to a player and finally a performer. Each step is not just a promotion, it's a transformation. You're not adding more hours, you're changing how you operate inside the system, from labor to leverage. Let's start with the climb from red to orange. Red is the land of, I make just enough to have nothing. You're grinding, sure, but every time you check your account, you're somehow still broke. You're doing work, but not wealth building work. You're trading your time for survival, not scale. And what Hamilton calls out is the real trap, the false relief of being able to cover your bills. That moment you breathe easy because you can pay rent this month, that's the trap, because relief is not the same thing as progress. So how do you break that ceiling and hit orange? Passion, standards, flow. In other words, stop chasing money and start chasing meaning. Figure out what makes you come alive, set non-negotiable standards, and then build your life around connecting to the market in a way that feeds both. The trick is to stop being reactive and start designing. Stop responding to opportunities and start creating them. But even orange is dangerous because orange is seductive. It's where you feel like you're doing okay, you've got clients, you're not broke, but you're still chasing. You're still the one who has to show up to get paid. You still haven't built anything that works when you don't. You're not in control. You're just slightly less desperate. You're working hard, but you're still replaceable. And the second you stop moving, it all falls apart. Enter yellow, the player. This is the leap from working in something to creating something that works for you. Yellow isn't about working harder. It's about shifting from chasing money to attracting it. You don't chase the ball comes to you, clients call you, opportunities find you. Why? Because you've positioned yourself as someone worth knowing, following, hiring, or collaborating with. You've created a brand, a rhythm, a magnetic identity. But yellow is also where most ambitious people die, because it feels like you've made it. You're self-employed, in demand, and maybe even making real money. So you double down, take on more projects, launch more services. You become an octopus, multitasking yourself into a corner. It all looks good from the outside, but inside, you're fried. Your calendar is packed. You're scaling chaos. Hamilton calls this the octopus effect, when every limb of your business is plugged into you. Every email, every deal, every deliverable depends on you showing up. That's not freedom. That's a golden cage with a burnout treadmill inside. And it's exactly what keeps most people from becoming a green level performer. Green is a different game. It's the level where you stop being a soloist and become a conductor of a band, where you stop making the music and start orchestrating it. You shift from I get paid for what I do to I get paid for what my team achieves. You're no longer trading time, you're trading vision. The power moves from your effort to your influence. And that shift is only possible when you do something most entrepreneurs are too egotistical to attempt. Give up control. You give up control to gain capacity. You replace chaos with rhythm. You create systems, structure, and talent pipelines, not because it's sexy, because it's scalable. Green level wealth doesn't look like hustle. It looks like momentum, rhythm, flow. And the irony is, to get there, you have to stop clinging to the exact things that made you successful at lower levels. Your independence, your creative freedom, your need to touch everything. You trade being the star for being the strategist. You stop doing the job and start designing the ecosystem. And here's the real kicker. Green is where your wealth stops being personal and starts becoming exponential. Because now it's not about what you do, it's about what your people do. You become the lighthouse, not the lifeboat. And in that role, you create legacy, not just income, but most people won't get here. They're too busy proving they're important, instead of building something that doesn't need them to be. They'll stay yellow, stuck, burnt out, impressive on Instagram, broke in real life. This part of the book, it's not a playbook for passive income. It's a blueprint for earned leverage, and it only works if you're willing to let go of your ego and step into leadership, real leadership. Not the kind that screams hustle and grinds 24/7, the kind that builds people, builds rhythm, builds systems. Key takeaway, if your income stops when you stop, you're still a worker, no matter how successful you look. True wealth comes when your genius flows through others, not just from you. Favorite quote, you don't get paid more because you work harder. You get paid more because you've created more flow. Mastering the art of leadership. You know what's hilarious? People love to yell, I'm building an empire, but they still do their own damn bookkeeping. Like, my guy, you can't even delegate email, but you think you're going to lead a global movement? That's not leadership. That's delusion in a Gucci hoodie. Let's be clear, leadership isn't about charisma, motivational speeches, or posting Gary Vee quotes on Instagram. It's about orchestration, actual, brutal, uncomfortable orchestration. The kind where you're not the star of the show, but the person making sure every other genius in the room plays their part to perfection. You're not the soloist anymore. You're the damn conductor. And that shift, That requires letting go of everything your ego has clung to up until now, including your role as the hero. Roger Hamilton dismantles this ego trap with the precision of a sniper. Moving from performer to conductor is where the real split happens. It's where your business, your influence, your legacy, they all stop being about you and start being about the system you've built. That's the cost of greatness. No more center stage, no more spotlight. Just systems, strategy, and structure. Now let's get real. If you're still in the mindset that being busy is a badge of honor, you're never going to make it to the level Hamilton is talking about. Because at the highest levels, busyness is a red flag. It means your systems are broken. It means you've built a machine that eats your time instead of compounds your value. And no amount of productivity hacks will save a business that needs you to function. At best, you're a highly paid employee in a cage you built yourself. Hamilton's framework at this level is savage in its simplicity. Anchor your authority, perfect your processes, build your balance. That's the holy trinity of real leadership. If you can't build authority in your space, your performers won't trust you. If your processes are sloppy, you're just managing chaos. And if you can't maintain balance in cash flow, capital growth, and energy, you burn out and watch your empire collapse from the inside out. Most people think leadership is about making decisions. Wrong. Leadership is about creating clarity so decisions make themselves. It's about building a rhythm so consistent your team could run your business without ever talking to you. Hamilton calls this having your own flight deck. It's not just a dashboard, it's a real-time map of everything that matters. Revenue, milestones, KPIs, every moving piece visible, tracked, owned, not by you, but by a team that's trained to think like owners. This is where performers graduate to conductors, by stepping back, by attracting other A players and proving that you can run multi-million-dollar symphonies without ever touching the instruments. And here's the shocker, the less you do, the more powerful you become, because your value isn't in effort, it's in alignment. But wait, the game doesn't stop at blue. If you think blue level, the land of multiple teams and multiple streams, is the summit, you're still playing a finite game. There's another level, and it's not just about scaling your business, it's about scaling your impact. Beyond blue is the land of legacy, the realm of the trustee, the composer, the legend. This is where wealth becomes irrelevant unless it creates transformation. It's not about money anymore. It's about trust, influence, stewardship. You stop making products, you start shaping paradigms. You go from here's what I do to here's what I stand for. And to get there, you need to let go of your obsession with being in control. You stop being the brand and start becoming the movement. You lead by presence, not pressure. You don't just solve problems, you create platforms so others can solve them. Think Branson, think Diamandis, think Mandela. These aren't just people, they're symbols, archetypes, forces. Hamilton tells the story of his own leap, standing on the edge of the Nevis bungee platform, 400 meters of freefall ahead of him, frozen, paralyzed, until the guide whispered, "It's not jumping, it's just letting go." That's what this leap is, not a push, a release. You stop gripping what got you here. You trust gravity to carry you to the next level. Leadership at this height is spiritual, quantum. You stop operating on strategy alone. You start moving in alignment with your genius, your team, your cause, your light. Every decision you make at this point either dims or amplifies that light. And that light, that's what people follow. Not your resume, not your net worth, your radiance. Let this settle in. The final level isn't achieved, it's embodied. You don't become a legend. You live the mission so deeply the mission becomes you. It burns into your DNA, and long after you're gone, your story is still unfolding. Not because of what you did, but because of who you helped others become. Key takeaway. True leadership is not about being the most important person in the room. It's about making everyone else in the room more powerful. You're not the product, you're the platform. And your legacy is not what you built, it's what others build because of you. Favorite quote, don't think of it like you're jumping, think of it like simply letting go. Gravity will do the rest. Conclusion, you made it. You sat through a book that didn't pat you on the back, it grabbed you by the collar and held up a mirror. And now the question is real simple. What the hell are you gonna do about it? Because if all this was just another intellectual snack for your brain to chew on and forget, congratulations. You've just added well-informed broke person to your resume. But if this book hit you in the gut, if it cracked something open, then you've got one job now: move. You've seen the blueprint, you've been shown the lighthouse, you've been handed a full-on GPS for wealth, purpose, and transformation. Not motivation, not hype, not someone else's recycled success tips. Your actual path, your actual genius, your actual level, and what to do at each stage. So stop pretending you're confused. You're not confused. You're just afraid of letting go of the weak version of yourself you've been dragging around for years. That version that plays small, overworks, under-earns, and makes excuses in the name of hustle. Let it die. Because what Roger James Hamilton has given you here, it's not a cute read. It's a manual for weaponizing your identity. It's how you become the person that makes wealth inevitable. Not optional, not wishful, inevitable. And don't get it twisted. You're not entitled to the next level just because you want it. You have to earn it by applying the right strategy for your genius at your stage. Because if you're still running a billionaire's playbook on a survival level mindset, you're not building wealth. You're role-playing success while your bank account quietly dies. So yeah, this book, it's not the end of the journey. It's the end of your excuses. Now go buy the actual book, not the summary, not the second-hand inspiration, the full, unfiltered, raw version of the Millionaire Master Plan by Roger James Hamilton. Because reading this summary and not reading the book is like smelling someone else's dinner and expecting to get full. Support the author, learn your genius, find your level, and then light your damn lighthouse. If this video shook you, good. Hit like, smash subscribe, share it with someone who's still stuck at red, pretending it's green, and drop a comment. What level are you on? And what's the one thing you're going to do this week to move up? Because if you're not playing the game right, you're not escaping ordinary. You're surrendering to it. Now go, build, lead, and for the love of freedom, stop playing small. We'll see you at the top, or we'll watch you repeat the same year again. Your move.